Girl, I'm in my soft guy era, drizzle, drizzle. Girl, I'm in my soft guy era, drizzle, drizzle. How you win women over by handling their emotions and knowing how to make them feel certain things versus trying to talk and negotiate in hopes that you're going to negotiate your way into her heart. Because more often than not, that's not the way you're going to get the results you want. So a month ago, he wrote me and said, what about if you were the one that cancels a date? It happened to me last Friday. It was going to be our third date, and our plan was spending the night at my place. The issue was that I got really sick the same day. So I called her for the first time to explain the situation and cancel the date. A couple of days later, I got well, and I contacted her to rearrange the date, offering a specific day, but she answered, quote, I'll let you know tomorrow, but she didn't. At the moment, I'm waiting until she reaches out to me to plan something else. If after 10 to 14 days, nothing happens, I'll try again. And if I don't get any positive feedback, then I will move on. Is this the right approach? So in that video that I made when I answered this question, I said that I thought that was the right approach. I tell you guys that when you're, reaching out to a woman, texting is basically like tennis. You're sending messages back and forth. So she'll send a message and then you'll send a message back, and we know phones work. So the woman is seeing the message. If she's not responding back right away or in a timely manner, there could be a variety of things going on. It could be that she has other prospects that she's trying to fill out first. It could be that she's busy. It could be that you unintentionally did or said something or suggested the kind of date that made her give pause to like, do I really want to be with this guy in that capacity? So in this example, he had the thing about trying to plan a date at his place. So he got sick and couldn't do that date. But for all we know, either A, maybe the suggestion of a date of going over to his place was a little too soon, or B, it could be that by him canceling the date, he was trying to tell her that he really was sick. But in her reality, she's thinking, no, he probably just canceled for whatever reason. I'm butthurt, blah, blah, blah. All we know is that he sent a text and his response to ask for another date. And her response was, I'll let you know tomorrow. And so, yeah, this is the case where you want to wait it out. And what I tell you guys is that you wait about 7 or 10 days. And then if she doesn't reach back out to you to ask for that date that she said she was going to let you know about, you ask her out one more time. And at that point, if she doesn't respond back or says, oh, I'm busy or whatever, then you kind of know, okay, she's not feeling me anymore, or she's kind of like fallen to the wayside. She's got less attraction. And hey, it's part of the game. Not every woman that you start out hot and heavy with is going to end up liking you long term, right? But what I did say is this. I said is that ultimately, you don't want to be a guy that's sending double text, triple text, quadruple text, because that goes from like you sending out a simple request to you now appearing needy and desperate. And once women start feeling that you're being needy and desperate, it gives them the feel of ick. It gives them a feeling of you not potentially being a safe or sane guy, because any sane guy would just be like, oh, she didn't respond back. I'll get back to her later, whatever, and not be stressing. At the point where you start over sending text, it gives her the impression that you have no other options and that you're trying to stress her. And sometimes even a woman that you're not giving signals to that indicate that you would be stressing her out, she might still be thinking, but I bet if I ignore him, he's going to start texting me a whole lot. So you know what? Subconsciously, I'm going to just back away and not do anything, right? But ultimately, I have found that when you give women space and you don't barrage them with text, what'll usually happen is if you guys had a couple of good dates and she starts to miss you, then she'll reach out. So this guy sent an update, and his update went like this. He said, almost a month later, she reached out to me. And the only thing I did was nothing. I didn't even contact her as I said I was going to in my previous message. So this guy's original plan was he was going to wait 10 to 14 days and then try to reach out to her for another date. He just said, you know what? I'm not going to do that. It is what it is. Best of luck to her, and didn't stress it anymore. And what happened? She came back to him. Now, we're not in her head, so we can't really summarize why it is she suddenly felt the need to reach back out. We can theorize, but we don't know for sure. But this does speak to when you leave a woman alone. In my practice, I have found that it gives women time to sit with themselves. It gives them time to reminisce about the great time they had with you. They're thinking about you more. They're realizing that you're not reaching out. So it goes from like, if she was trying to do a push away or pull away test, it goes from being like, oh, he's not bugging me anymore to like, well, wait, he's not bugging me. Like, what's going on? Like, I thought he liked me. What's going on? And then she starts realizing that maybe she wasn't as bugged by your presence as she thought she was, or maybe she realizes you weren't going to be that guy that was going to be overbearing in your texting conversation. We don't know. All we know is that at the end of the day, this lady said, you know what? I miss him and I want to see what's up with him and I'm going to reach out. Now, we don't know based on her reaching out if that means that she's going to ask him out or try to, see if they want to go on a date. I have found more often than not that even when women say things like, oh, I'll reach out and let you know when I want to date, that when they reach back out to you later on, they're still going to expect you as the guy to do the heavy lifting of saying, hey, nice hearing from you, so-and-so. Hey, I got to run, but real quick, I found this great spot in town. We should meet up in whatever. So you're probably still going to have to do that part. But again, this speaks to she reached out to him, and what did he have to do that? Nothing. He didn't have to have any major conversations with her. He didn't have to tell her about how dare you do a thing and my feelings are on the line and you were texting me at first, now this is that. He did none of that, and yet this girl came back. So for you guys that are thinking it takes all this talking and texting and convincing of women, this is what this show is about. It's about the fact that a woman has to be feeling certain things in order to want to reach out, in order to want to say yes to dates, in order to want to go out with you. And some of those things you're not going to be able to talk her into. And this guy's message back gives a perfect example of what we're talking about. To the commenter, yes, less is always more with women. I have found the amount of work that guys do in order to try to get women, I have found that most of it, and this is where guys get tripped up, is that and I'll talk about this a little bit more in the show, but men are coming at this from a logical angle, and you going into dating with a woman, trying to use analytical logic and reasoning is going to trip you up every single time. So as a guy, you have to learn and you have to get comfortable with the idea that some of the ways in which you think communication should work in order to attract women is not the way that it's going to actually benefit you in terms of trying to attract them, which this show is going to be about. Somebody said, hi, coach, is true, but it takes a lot of rewiring. Yeah, and we're going to go over some of that, what some of that entails today, because, I don't want you guys, I'm 42 now, right? I've been dating since I was 15. It took me until age 31 at best to start to be more comfortable with the idea that the way in which I'm wired, it works in a lot of situations, but in terms of attracting women and making them feel comfortable with me and being able to communicate with them, that it's going to take a different set of skills. But the nice thing is, once you learn those skills, you can add those to your wiring. And it's not to say that the skills you need will ever make it less annoying when women are, trying to hint at stuff, or they're being emotional about a thing that you're like, this is no big deal. You just learn, okay, when this is happening, how can you deal with this? And, or when you're getting into situations with women where you're trying to communicate your point, you know what areas to touch them on an emotional level, so where they can, at the very least, empathize with you, even if they don't fully agree. You's a bad boy, but you can't stop, won't stop. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high-class man. You a high-class man. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high